The deluge. Your brain isn't slow, it's drowning. Right now, we are living through an algorithmic deluge explicitly designed to fracture your focus. Imagine your mind as a high-performance engine being fed a constant stream of digital debris. We've traded deep, slow-burn synthesis for rapid-fire novelty, and the result is a total creative stall. If you want to reclaim your genius, you have to stop feeding the engine garbage. You must ruthlessly starve the noise. The 2026 reality. In 2026, the rarest commodity isn't information, it's the absolute ability to ignore it. To outrun this relentless flood of weaponized data, you need an intentional, selective information diet that prioritizes quality over speed. It's time to deprogram the shallow impulse to consume and return to your natural thinking velocity. Proactive hijacking. We used to talk about simple dopamine loops getting a little chemical hit when we saw a funny video. But algorithmic pacing has evolved. We are now dealing with proactive cognitive hijacking. Platforms don't just react to what you like. They actively predict your next psychological vulnerability to keep your eyes locked to the glass. The memory sacrifice. This constant novelty seeking comes with an invisible, devastating tax. Your brain is forcing a trade-off. It sacrifices long-term memory consolidation just to handle immediate data processing. When you spend hours processing shallow snippets, your brain never gets the pause it needs to move information from your frantic working memory into stable, long-term storage. The neuroscience of brain rot. Recent digital cognitive studies show that the constant task switching caused by scrolling alters activation patterns in the prefrontal cortex, leaving behind attention residue that disrupts deep analytical reasoning. The illusion of knowledge. This creates a dangerous psychological paradox, the feeling of being hyper-informed, contrasted with the brutal reality of mental fragmentation. You feel like you know everything because you read 40 headlines a day, but without internal silence, you can't connect the dots. You don't possess knowledge, you possess digital clutter. Intentional acquisition. To break this loop, you have to move from passive ingestion to intentional, high-effort information acquisition. If information is effortless to get, it is almost entirely useless to your cognitive development. We need to reset your focus baseline by intentionally adding friction back into your life. The 4-8-hour delay. Step 1 of this protocol is implementing a strict 4-8-hour data delay. When a massive topic, controversy, or discourse trends online, resolve not to read about it for 2 full days. Let the algorithmic emotional charge dissipate. When you finally look at it 48 hours later, 90% of the noise will have vanished, saving you hours of reactive emotional exhaustion. Reintegrating tactile thinking. Step 2 is returning to analog tools. Writing by hand on paper isn't old-fashioned. It is a physical necessity in a digital-first world. Tactile engagement slows down your input speed, forces spatial awareness, and activates your motor cortex in a way that anchors abstract thoughts into concrete concepts. Becoming a curator. True intellectual growth requires you to stop acting like a consumer and start acting like a curator. Consumers eat whatever is placed in front of them. Curators ruthlessly select only a few complex, long-form intellectual systems to let into their mental space. This table highlights the difference between passively scrolling and consuming quick bits of content versus intentionally curating high-quality, in-depth information. If you're enjoying this video, please do well to subscribe and hit the like button. On one side, the content consumer moves fast, jumping from one short tweet, video clip, or summary to another. This creates a scattered, anxious, and reactive mental state. On the other side, the information curator moves slowly and thoughtfully. They choose deep, reliable sources like full books and research papers, leading to a calm, focused, and analytical mindset. It's essentially contrasting fast, shallow consumption with slow, deep learning. Slow burn reading. This requires shifting to slow burn reading. 1 dense, 400-page book written by an expert over a decade will do more for your critical thinking than reading 10,000 algorithmic snippets. It trains your brain to hold a single, complex thread of logic across hours instead of seconds. The creative vacuum. When you reduce the sheer volume of external input, you create an intentional vacuum, Most people are terrified of this empty space, so they fill it with white noise or podcasts. But that vacuum is the exact environment where your own original insights finally find the room to surface. The production paradox. This brings us to a beautiful paradox. Consuming less information actually makes your problem-solving faster and your output completely original. When your mind isn't bogged down clearing out digital garbage, it operates at its native velocity. The incubation chamber. This is the biological process of incubation. Your subconscious requires idle time to work on deep problems without real-time digital interference. If you fill every micro moment of boredom, waiting in line, walking to your car, sitting on the bus with a screen, you deny your brain's default mode network the exact oxygen it needs to build breakthroughs. Protecting the bookends. To build a sustainable, sovereign mindset, you must fiercely protect the bookends of your day. Establish an unbreakable boundary. No external data inputs during the first hour of your morning and the absolute last hour of your evening. Let your brain wake up to its own thoughts, and let it fall asleep processing its own day. The courage to opt out. It takes genuine social and professional courage to opt out of the real-time outrage machine. You will miss memes. You won't know about every internet argument the second it happens. But you will trade those ephemeral social micro-rewards for something infinitely more valuable, your cognitive autonomy. Deprogramming the shallow impulse to consume isn't about hiding from the modern world. It's about mastering it. When you reclaim your cognitive rhythm, you restore your critical thinking, protect your long-term memory, and unlock true intellectual mastery in an age of absolute noise. Turn off the feed. Start the delay. Reclaim your mind.